Fire Force is incredible. Juggernaut is a character I've heard a lot of hype about, and I've had nothing against the guy, but this was his big moment. This was his moment to shine. And shine he did. This was an episode that was filled with so much death and despair that it caught me off guard. There's this build-up where you're like, okay, they're going into the nether, right? You're getting this cute moments. I mean, you start the episode with Arthur in a new group being delusional knight, and the captain's like, I'm in charge, and you have to have one of the lower class soldiers being like, no, play it up and he'll be a good soldier. You start the episode off as Fire Force as it comes, and then very quickly, everyone gets killed. You're getting flashbacks to a pregnant woman and being like, hey, after this mission, I'll take some time off, I'll be with you with the baby, see him get killed. Oh, here's another emotional moment, see him get killed. And then you get this one moment where he's just like, I'm gonna put on these new sneakers, and I'm like, that's dumb. Like, why would you do that? You're having this really great emotional pull, you're giving us an emotional backstory to them death, and then he seemingly lives, and he's like, oh, it's a good thing my life flashing was pretty boring. And then he gets killed, and then they got me with that character. Everyone was just getting annihilated. It was brutal. It was graphic. I was actually shocked by how many characters quickly died in the nether, and really did it put into perspective that Fire Force is a very dangerous series, and that anyone could die. And what they did, very interestingly, is the group that Tamaki and Juggernaut were with, the captain of this group is insane. He had thermal eyes. He could read everything. And he was just spinning around machine guns, he was shooting everyone, and very quickly, I forgot about the death. And I think this was intentional. They made us feel very safe with this captain. They made us feel very safe that mindless people will get a lot of death. That characters who have, we never met them before, yeah, it's a sad backstory and they die, and it does hurt us. I mean, I honestly felt bad for everyone getting killed in this episode. But once you focus back on the main stars and we're getting introduced, we're getting name drops here, right? We're saying, oh, this is going to be a very important character. He has thermal eyes. He's not going to get killed. And in a split second, his head gets cut off. And I was shocked. I actually paused the episode and sat back and said, wait, they're really willing to kill characters. And you can argue that this is a new character, so obviously characters like Juggernaut or Tamaki or Shinra won't get killed. But I don't think that's the case. We end the episode with Juggernaut having an explosion that could very well kill him. I don't know if it will, but this episode did prove to me that anyone can die. If Juggernaut lives, I will not be disappointed. If Juggernaut dies, I will not be disappointed. This episode really shook the foundation that the remaining 4 episodes of Season 2 is anything but predictable. Juggernaut and Tamaki were very interesting in this episode. Tamaki had just as many lewd fan service scenes, and unfortunately I was really hoping she would kind of be a star of the show, but we still have yet to really have her moment to really shine. But when she started calling out for Shinra, I totally expected Shinra was going to come. And I was going to be honestly put off by that, because when she was calling to him, I was like, it does work because there is this connection between her and Shinra. But it felt like, why would he be there? Why would he be able to? He's not like a wizard. He can't just be summoned. He can't hear. He doesn't have superhuman hearing. And when I realized that it was actually Juggernaut coming in, I was so relieved. This is a moment that really redefined what we thought Fire Force was. A character who has been basically just fan service bait, who has been there to get striptease and things like that, is starting to call out to the hero of the series. That's a very typical thing, and you're like, okay, once again, the hero's going to come, the hero's going to save the day. But instead we get Juggernaut, a character who's been very scared of flames, and we don't even know exactly what he can do. We understand his abilities, but then again, when he gets cut apart, he just regenerates and his clothing is seemingly okay. A character who seemingly is so indestructible and is so scared of everything, and he starts standing up. Yeah, he has a crush on this girl, but it felt like more than just, oh, I'm trying to impress the lady of the anime. This entire fight felt like this could be a death waiting. We could see not just one big death in this group, we could see all of them end up dead. And it's interesting to see a character who's just slicing and dicing and is honestly not even putting up a fight, it felt like. She wasn't breaking a sweat. And how Juggernaut, who just continued to get annihilated, it felt like we were building up to Juggernaut's death, and I was convinced he was going to die protecting her. You can argue the cliffhanger makes it seem like he did, but I feel like based on his regeneration, we don't know exactly what his limitations are, so I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow makes it out of this situation. But still, that escalation in him just trying harder and harder and harder. And what's interesting, and I really liked it about the episode, is you generally don't see his body besides part of his face. And I love what they did was when he was trying to throw these bombs at her, the gloves come off and you actually see his human side. And it was nice just to see that escalation in the animation. I mean, last time when we had, Charon and just like what he was doing with that whole animation with the star and just like the explosions, I thought that was beautiful, and this was equally gorgeous in terms of Juggernaut. If this is any indication of what the final stretch of this anime is going to look like, Fire Force has no competition visually when it comes to flames. They really did redefine what television flames can look like, and every time we see someone use these attacks, it looks visually distinct from the last and doesn't feel like a copy and paste. David Production loves this material. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They love this material. There's no way you go this extreme if you don't have the same level of passion as you do for your JoJo adaptations. That's how much I like Fire Force. I'm going to always stick by that until they say otherwise, and they say, no, we're just doing it because it makes us money. I really do feel like they care just as much as they do with JoJo, and I really do feel like we could see a full Fire Force adaptation in the future. I know Fire Force, I think, is reaching its climax in the manga. I could be mistaken. So I think we will have to wait for a season 3 down the line, but I do think they will give us that season 3 when they can deliver it whenever the material is there. I feel like, honestly, I feel confident in predicting that. I don't think we're going to be left high and dry, even if season 2 has a great finale as we wait for hopefully more. I think this episode really wanted to shake us and make us say, oh, entering the Nether, yeah, it's disappointing that we don't have Maki, and yeah, we're going to sweat, there's going to be some intense battles, but nothing too bad is going to happen. And I didn't think that even though they were splitting up the cast so much that we were going to immediately see bloodshed. I thought what was going to happen is we'd have this episode be like, okay, we're kind of just like getting the setup going, getting the ball moving, and then next week is when bad things would happen. I wasn't expecting it to just kick off and go full throttle like it did. Rather than using deaths just for a shock value, I felt like the deaths were really there to make us feel like the Nether is supposed to be frightening, and when we did see these deaths, not only did it make us fear for the characters we have grown accustomed to, by giving us that flashback and really showing that these are people with families. Even if we don't know their name, even if we haven't met them up until now, families are dying because their husbands, their boyfriends, their fathers, all of those people are now dead. And it really does put into perspective how these aren't just mindless fodder to be killed. Even if it is anime, these are real people in the context of Fire Force's world. The animation, the fight, the battle, everything about it just felt so great. The worst I can say is I honestly wish Tamaki had more to offer rather than being a damsel in distress. But seeing what we got with Juggernaut, I can't say I'm disappointed that she ended up in that situation if it meant we got Juggernaut's big moment. This is a character I've heard so many good things about, and I can really safely say I understand why, seeing what they did with him in this episode. I'm still shocked by that captain's death. I thought he was going to have such a big importance, but even though I kind of wish we got to see more of him with his cool arsenal and his thermal eyes, I think it really did lead to territory to really help him get out of his shell and really stand on his own 2 feet. The backstories and just how they're delivering character drama this season has been so remarkable, and if this is what we're able to accomplish with a Tamaki and Juggernaut focused episode, imagine what Shinra and Arthur and the other characters are going to do, and if Maki even gets reintroduced in this arc at all. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below on this week's episode of Fire Force. I'd argue this is one of the more powerful episodes in the past month or two of Fire Force in my honest opinion, but whatever you're feeling, of course, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, show your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happy new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.